The clock is ticking. Today is September 28, 2025, and humanity is on the verge of returning to the moon for the first time in over 50 years. NASA's Artemis 3, targeting mid-2027, aims to land astronauts near the moon's south pole, a region believed to hold water ice and the key to a sustained lunar presence. This mission is the result of a decade of planning and global ambition, but the timeline is tight and the pressure is immense. The shadow of Apollo 17 looms large, and the world is watching as a new space race unfolds, not just against history, but against rising international competitors. Before Artemis 3, Artemis 2 must succeed, a 10-day crewed flyby around the moon in April 2026, testing NASA's Space Launch System and Orion capsule with astronauts aboard. Artemis 2's success is non-negotiable. It's the gateway to the landing. The Artemis program is a chain of dependencies, each mission unlocking the next. But the most critical piece of the puzzle isn't NASA's rocket or capsule. It's a new lunar lander, built by a commercial partner, that will actually take astronauts to the surface. At the heart of Artemis 3 is SpaceX's Starship Human Landing System, or HLS, a vehicle unlike anything NASA has ever used. For the first time, NASA is relying on a commercial company for the most crucial step landing on the moon. SpaceX must first prove Starship HLS can land uncrewed on the lunar surface in 2026, a full dress rehearsal before risking astronauts. Only after a successful demo will NASA greenlight the crewed landing in 2027. Starship's massive size promises to deliver larger crews and more cargo, but its radical design brings untested technologies and high risk. The entire mission hinges on SpaceX's ability to innovate at breakneck speed. Starship is still in development, with test flights ongoing at Starbase, Texas. The next 6 months of testing will determine if the 2027 landing is achievable or just wishful thinking. NASA's bet on a single commercial provider is bold and controversial. The world is watching to see if SpaceX can deliver on time. Starship's path to the moon is filled with technical firsts. The biggest challenge: on-orbit refueling. Starship HLS must be topped off in Earth orbit by tanker ships, a feat never attempted at this scale. Landing such a massive vehicle on the moon's rugged surface requires new landing legs and precise control to avoid dangerous dust clouds. In lunar orbit, Starship must dock flawlessly with NASA's Orion capsule, a new challenge far from Earth. Every system must work perfectly the first time. There's no margin for error. Each step, refueling, landing, docking, is a major engineering leap. NASA's own safety panel warns the timeline is significantly challenged, and the risks are real. Despite doubts, SpaceX's Starbase in Texas is a hive of activity. New hardware is built and tested daily, with prototypes of the crew airlock and lander sections already in development. Dedicated HLS facilities are rising, and Starship version 3, with upgraded engines, prepares for its first flight in late 2025. These flights are critical to validate the core systems for the lunar lander. SpaceX is also scaling up fuel production and launch operations, aiming for a rapid cadence of tanker launches to support lunar missions. The company isn't just building a lander, it's building the industrial machine to support it. Progress is visible, but the technical and logistical hurdles remain immense. Artemis 3's schedule is driven not just by engineering but by a new space race. China aims to land astronauts on the moon by 2030, injecting geopolitical urgency into NASA's timeline. The first nation to establish a lunar presence could shape the rules for future exploration and resource use. US leaders see Artemis 3 as a matter of national interest, adding pressure on SpaceX to deliver. NASA's safety panel, after visiting Starbase, warns the HLS timeline could slip by years. The program faces a delicate balance. Move fast, but don't cut corners on safety. Every Starship test is a step toward winning the new space race, or a reminder of how hard the challenge truly is. The next 2 years will define who leads on the moon. The choices made for Starship HLS will shape lunar exploration for decades. Landing technology, dust mitigation, and autonomous guidance will set the standard for future missions, to the moon, Mars, and beyond. If SpaceX succeeds, its approach could become the blueprint for interplanetary travel. Orbital refueling, if proven, would revolutionize deep space missions, making Mars and the outer planets more accessible. The stakes are enormous. Artemis 3 is more than a race to a date, it's a testbed for the next era of human spaceflight. The challenges are forcing engineers to solve problems that have blocked a sustained human presence beyond Earth. Progress at Starbase, set against skepticism and global competition, makes for high drama. The outcome will determine not just when we return to the moon, but how humanity explores the solar system.